Again for another session with Produce using the Paintology drawing app. So some of you are probably new to this live stream, but I've been doing this live stream for the last few weeks, and it's getting quite a few people coming to view it, and some of you are now coming online and being patient, and while I get my things ready and trying to follow along with me on drawing with the mobile phone using the Paintology drawing app, currently available only for Android users, but hopefully in time with the increased popularity, it will come to Apple users too. So you can get that from the Google Play Store, and you can find that. So let's have a look, and it's free, of course. And let's have a look. This is the way I typically draw on the phone. So I also encourage you to draw on the phone. And don't let others tell you can't make decent drawings on the phone. You sure can. And you only have to see some of my videos, and you will see that I make photorealistic drawings even on my phone. And the reason for being able to get to this level down to just a few things. And if you're new to the channel and new to live stream, those things are, I'll I'll name them on my fingers. One, zoom, because you can expand the area of the space. And number two, using your manual fundamental art skills techniques, which I'm going to show you. I'm not a great advocate of using digital tools, like blending, layers, and you name it, fill, autocorrection, and all that. I don't care for that. When I come to do drawing, I basically use the principles of core art techniques that have been the mainstay of traditional medium, in watercolors and acrylics, pastels, charcoals, you name it. So because I've had some of that traditional background, I'm able to bring these techniques to the digital. And, I can go into great lengths talking about the traditional digital, but you might want to check out some of my Quora profile, which you will find. There's some of my Quora profile here. And check out the many questions that I do. This is the Paintology Quora, but I also have a Quora profile. So you want to check that out, and you'll be able to find questions. I think I answered about well over 1,000 questions related to drawing. Okay. And then what else can I show you? Oh yeah, if you are really serious about improving your art techniques, I recommend this Google Classroom. It's available link in the description. If you don't find it in this description, you will see it in many other videos. There's a list of links that I provide at the end in the description area of many of the videos. So these are standard links that you can go to, and you'll see one on Classroom, Google Classroom, which you can join up with a Gmail account, and it is structured. Spent quite a bit of time in preparing this, so you can pace yourself and go through it, and you can skip if it depends on individuals. They all learn at different speeds, but it's all designed to teach you core skills in art, not necessarily drawing with Paintology. And that's the big difference between Paintology drawing app and many other drawing apps out there, which are primarily focused on just giving you tool after tool, to brush after brush, to satisfy your quench or thirst for drawing, which this drawing is dictated by the tools and not by the techniques, which is Paintology is all about. And I'm here to teach you art techniques. These are the techniques that you will find in academic courses and in classes, but it's a lot more dynamic and more fun. It's not based on traditional medium, which you can't replicate. You can see that I have this app, and you will see that if you follow my instructions, you will be able to follow it more easily, because when I'm telling you about techniques on the digital medium, I'm telling you what to do with this trace bar. I'm telling you what brush to use here, what percentage to use, and that's something you can't do quite easily in traditional. And techniques of art is what allows me to make some impressive drawings, and I'll show you some of the drawings I've made in my live stream. So this takes a little bit of time. So let's go to my paintings where the information is stored, and you will see this one I did yesterday, this on the phone using the shade. So it's showing tones. It's really touching on tones, and there are subtle tones on this. I started off by drawing the cap to show you how easy it is to capture the cap without really much drawing experience, and it's based on the block coloring. But then towards the end, I go on improving this drawing using my art skills, which is based on moving the trace bar to my drawing, keeping it there, and then looking at the um, the reference image, and then transferring the drawing, drawing what I see. Yeah. So truly, drawing with your eyes has come to past here in Paintology. So let's go back and show you another one that I did. So I draw all kinds of subjects, you know. There was this drawing of the metal, which I did. It's also on the live stream. Just remember, I have two channels. In case you missed this one, you can always join me in the 11 a.m. channel on Produce, which is another similar type of drawing I'm going to do. So here's one of a portrait I did. So you can see with relatively easily how you can produce photorealistic drawing. In total time, I could do this without talking in an hour or so. And I finished about maybe 3/4 of the way through this drawing in my live stream, and then I ended up doing a drawing, finishing off the drawing using my art, the method I showed you, looking at the reference image and then applying the drawing to this on the phone. Yeah. So many drawings and many examples of drawing, and it's really fun. I mean, just keep in mind that many people have this notion of what digital art is. Even ChatGPT or ChatGPT has asked once, "What is drawing? How can I get into digital drawing?" I posed that question, and you can check my Paintology blog. There are many articles on that. I asked the question, and one of the primary points it mentioned was that it requires technical mastery of the tools. And I'm thinking even Chat GPT has got it wrong. But the reason it says that is because everyone rushes to the tools to do digital art, and it's the reason why it has a bad rap with traditional artists, because they think that you need to have technical mastery of it. And honestly, if when you see one of my videos, you will see that I draw in exactly the same manner as a pencil and paper, except I have much more versatility on the opacity or density of the pencil, which is this. You cannot get this anywhere on a pencil, can you? But this is what allows me such fantastic control over blending, everything an art requires. And if you give me this line brush, I will be able to create any type of drawing just with the line brush. And recently I've just been focused on this line brush, even though there are many brushes here, right, you can use for your, for your interest and pleasure, but I use the line brush to show you how you can make fantastic drawings. So let's dive in and with this particular drawing. So how are we going to do this? Well, the first thing I want to do is I have a mind on how to have a sort of an opinion based on my experience. I'm going to obviously always start off, and if you notice that I always do block coloring. And how am I going to do the block coloring? Well, I usually keep it high, and then I pick the colors here. That's about the size, I think. Well, okay, but let me decrease that just a tad because I want to accommodate all the areas, including the bubbles. Right, the bubbles are the most important thing. Yeah, I think 10% is a good. So first of all, if you know what block coloring is, keep the trace bar just above the midway point, and then let's go ahead and start block coloring. So color picker, and then select the tones that appear, and then I'm just gradually working my way. Yeah, color picker. I was thinking about making a uniform background color first, but I decided against it, and I'll tell you why. And because it's got a lovely green background color to this drawing, and I will tell you later why. Because I wanna do this separately. I'm not creating a uniform background color. I'm actually going to just go around. What's this method of drawing? Believe it or not, will help you in improving your drawing strokes. The problem with beginners is that they can bring a lot of baggage, even though they want to learn. They can bring a lot of baggage based on their rudimentary experience with digital medium and following the massive crowd who are also doing it. They think this app's going to make you a superstar, and they forget about the experience and techniques you need to learn to become a superstar. No drawing, no car. Even if you go to a Formula One car, that's not gonna make you a. If you just go straight there, it's not gonna make you a superstar like Hamilton. The Grand Prix driver. It's not gonna make you that. They've had to go through intensive practice training. My goodness, I can't even imagine what rigorous training they had to go through to achieve this. The car is just there. Car is not going to make you superstar. So just like the app is not going to make you a superstar, yeah. You're going to have to learn, and they forget that this learning involves a lot of different mindset which they have not developed yet because they're beginning. And so it's very easy to follow the crowd and listen to the crowd who are beginners themselves, and then just get dragged into it. But the so my first tip to you is whenever you do pick up a skill or any type of skill, please do not look. I'm gonna do that as well. I've decided I'm gonna do this color using this. I'd usually select. Remember, I told you I was gonna select. So the area of focus, I'm keeping my brush small. And remember, you should also think about speed. Sorry, I'm gonna just go back to the question I had on my mind, which is the first biggest tip I can give you when you acquire a new skill Remove any thinking or notion that you have about what you know about drawing and painting. It is distorted, it is convoluted, it is mind-boggling because you've seen all these YouTube videos. It all your aspiration and inspirations will come from what you've seen, nothing to do with what you've done, but what you've seen and heard. And what you need to do, the first thing of acquiring the skill, is remove all that thinking. Make your brain like it's like make your turn your thinking into something you've never, like a child. Remember what Picasso said? He said you have to think like a child, and there's many reasons why he said that. It's because you don't want to bring that baggage along of that thinking that somehow as an adult what you're seeing. You don't. You don't unless you've done it yourself enough times. But it's very nice watching it, isn't it? So that's why a lot of people like to watch it, and then they don't necessarily want to engage in it, and which is fine, you know. But don't go tell any other people you somehow have a magical knowledge about how you should draw just because you've seen everyone else draw, because that is just not right for you to for you to you know make an assessment on drawing based on what you've seen is totally wrong. You got to be experienced and you got to know when to stop questioning or saying something about a particular subject. And I've come across many people, many adults who actually think they're knowledgeable about art, and then when I come to question them, they fall back. They actually, like, for example, when they compare digital art with traditional art, some of them, one of them is a curator of digital of art, right? Said digital art is soulless. I got really offended. I thought, what, you think some kind of a robot does it? Because they've got no notion of what digital art involves. So I showed them one of my drawings when I said I did this using traditional, so I guess I'm soulless, am I? You know, I did this just like, traditional. So how is it that it's so? Because they have no clue, they've not done it, and yet they have got the audacity to comment. So, and then she deleted my comment. But then there was another woman, another person who was polite enough to say, I didn't mean to be dismissive, and I saw your artwork, and it's truly inspiring digital art. So there you have it, different people with different viewpoints. And then if you're a beginner, what are you going to believe, right? So I would encourage you to be careful when you judge, because people now with the social media are very quick to judge, and they can hide behind their phone, isn't it? Not revealing their identity. So easy to do so, and then they can get away with saying what's on their mind. So I don't know. I mean, I'm of the opinion that you should be a little intelligent when you say something. Just not say it because of what you visualize and and how much you exercised in that field. It's funny though, there are people who think they know what they're talking about because they just watch. They're just consumers. We live in a very consumer type society, and people obviously like watching, but I would prefer that the people who actually look at my drawings, not always say how impressive it is, which is nice and flattering, but I would like them to give it a try and say, You know what? I'm seeing it. I gave it a shot, and it's pretty good. I mean, I never thought I could be able to draw. So the Paintology has been designed to make drawing, to bring back the fun of traditional. Have you seen me use any other tools just now? Let's see what we have. So we've created this particular drawing, while I'm talking, babbling on, right? And then we could increase the brush and then just do this even more quicker. Continue to press the color picker to get the tones because we're going to try and blend the tone when we come to it, okay? So let's just do that there. Continue to pick the color picker. You see how the tones change? Yeah. Now you can see that's tone. So what have we learned from this particular drawing session? We've managed to make a drawing using this trace bar. We've learned drawing. We're improving our drawing strokes. And if you can't get to this level of drawing, you need to keep practicing until you get it. You need to improve your drawing strokes. So just like I did, but you didn't need any drawing experience because you have this reference image to work with. So let's save that in case we lose it. Okay, I'm going to dive into showing you the blending. So what is blending? Well, blending is basically trying to blend. I'm going to show you with a white brush. Let me take that. Okay, I'm going to show you with a... Blending is basically to blend this part, you can see it blending between this region, yeah? This one you can see here, blending, that's all it is, blending. And then, so that's we're gonna, how do you blend this? Well, in the digital, if you were to use digital tools, what would you do? You'd actually get into tools, get into the details of the blending tool, and then you have to learn how this blending tool works. My God, it's such a complicated process. If I want to do drawing, do I want to get into the digital tools? No. I mean, I'm not creating an illustration. I'm creating a natural drawing that has a natural aesthetic feel to it. That's how I've always drawn since I was a little kid. And there's been decades where I haven't drawn or painted anything. And then it's just only many years ago that, like less than 10 years ago, where I got into painting, 7 years ago, painting and drawing, and then now digital drawing a few years back. So if I want to draw, make illustrations, graphics, web art, and that, then I would use Photoshop. I'm actually a very advanced user of Photoshop, so I'm not going to use it for drawing because I don't have any aspirations to become make a career out of it. I do it only because I need to for the online stuff that I do for Paintology. But if I'm drawing and feel the natural beauty of drawing, this is the reason I brought out Paintology, is because I can draw just like freehand. And many traditional artists are not aware of that because what do? They listen to the masses of people who are saying, oh, you got to use this brush, you got to use blending, you got to have layers. And I have people coming to Paintology and saying, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it doesn't have this. And they forget all about the most important subject matter in art, which are developing art techniques and the core skills of art. So they're naturally beginners. And then they turn around and say there's some very impressive drawings, but must have taken a hell of a long time. It's so ironic, isn't it? It really is. Okay, so let's go to blending. It's a good time for me to show you blending. So this is where this beautiful density button comes into it. Let's take that to 20% and take our brush size to 10%. because that's what we were using for brushes, but we may even increase that to 15%. And let's pick this dark color I have here, and then let's see if we can blend. Notice what's happening. Look at that. It's somehow been able to, it looks like it's not choppy on the edges. Right, look at that. Right, let's do it for all of them. Look at that. Right, that looks like it's somehow semi-blended, isn't it? And I'm going to tell you why that. What is that? How is that possible? And it's very, very easy. Nothing complicated to understand about that. What it is look at this density brush, right? Look at the drawing on above. Look, increases in opacity, isn't it? So think of this density like the maximum 100% is an ink. You know, when have you ever drawn with an ink pen? Yeah, you would find that you could never replicate any color except the ink color that it lays down, right? But if you go below this, it means that you can vary the density of this brush, meaning you now have an infinite range of HB pencils, all the 12B that you've probably seen all the way to HB. But then you have an infinite number of gradients. If you go down here, you if you go down here, right, you can create, let me go to the white brush. You can create a stroke, keep doing the stroke, and then it'll take you forever, depending on how many, where you are on the brush, down below the opacity setting. But if you're here, you can do this white stroke in one go. See what I mean? Okay, but if you're down here, look, it takes you quite a few strokes to get that out. That's the secret to blending here, and I'm going to show you how we take advantage of that. So I had it, I think I'm going to take it down further, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to blend this even much better towards that green on the adjacent side. Look at that, you can hardly, look, see that? Look at that, that's blending even more, right? Right, so this is a blending exercise that's so easy. And can you imagine doing all of this with the tools? Just way too complicated, way too difficult. This is so natural. So I'm just blending this out, following a sweeping line, strokes, whatever you're comfortable with. Right there, look how much we blended there. And then we can do the same thing with this green. Then blend that green against the lighter green, okay? Right, increase that. And the same here as well. And then increase that dark, take it out. And then soon you'll be able to see such blending. Actually, my daughter, she has a technique for blending, and she tells me I could improve my blending. And she uses a shade brush, which I can show you. In fact, I might get her under my supervision. She's 9 years old, and show you how. Look how much we've blended on this, right? There, you see it? Now, just taking the coarse, harsh tones out, yeah? And then we can see that we can actually even blend even more if you want to. Let me take that down even more. Look at that, where we are. And keep that at 25%. And then let's see if we can even blend even more, right? So it's all about, it's a dark tone, so you need to really set this low, And then take the brush and just pick the color, just practice. Pick the colors, take some of the lighter colors and make the dark areas recede if you need to, right? Right there. And then what can we do? Can you see those areas that we haven't touched? Just blend that. It's almost disappearing, isn't it? Let's see. Excuse me for a second. Hello, sorry about that. Let's see where we are. So you can see that we got nice kind of blending going on. We might want to blend even more. I think I'm going to ask my daughter how to blend this. She'll give me some ideas. So I got a green color. Let me just see if I can blend this even more. I got the lighter tone. Now, and let me see if I can take these back and use it. I've got 33%. Look how I managed to. This is where you need almost perfect blending, right? So you can just take it back. Look how much control you have doing it manually. If you're like confined to the tools, you are basically confining yourself to digital tools, right? You're not going to improve. You'll be limited by what the tools can do. But if you're like this, doing it manually, you have such a high degree of control. Look at that, 3%. Can I believe it? even 3% is not. Right. Look, I don't know about you, but I'm happy with that. But I know my daughter's not. So in fact, I'm gonna ask her to blend this when she comes back from school. Okay, anyway. So let's go. Now we can focus our attention. Let's save this and let's focus our attention on the leaf, yeah? Not the droplets. The droplets we will do towards the end, right? So again, we're going back to block coloring. And what we're going to do is, because we've already laid down our colors. Oh, by the way, I need to talk about the drawing process. So here is fundamental step, one of the most fundamental points that I've mentioned, that I'm going to mention in drawing and painting. And it's something that a majority of artists will not go into any length. And there's a good reason why they don't go to any length in this. And the reason is that the drawing process in the traditional medium was a hit or miss. It was never like a technical that could be, how can I put it, like distilled into a sequence of events that someone else could replicate. It was never like that. And the reason why it was never like that is because nobody, when it comes to traditional medium like pencil and paper, I will give you an example of pencil and paper. Now, for the traditional artist to demonstrate tones, he does it with relative ease, meaning he instinctively applies the right pressure and has a good understanding of how the properties of the pencil mm, matches the paper that he's using, and he's able to use that to his advantage without even knowing. It's an intuitive thing, and then able to create tones much better than any other beginner person. And the problem is that creating that tone involves pressure, understanding of the material, the way he holds the brush, the pencil, the way he orientates the pencil, the slight pressure that is applied to the paper, the tooth of the paper, and the strokes he does. It's just so difficult to replicate that until now, of course, with the digital medium. And now that you have the digital medium, you can actually, now that you have the digital medium, you can actually convey that information much more clearly. And from that comes the 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 process of drawing, the drawing process, which was rarely mentioned. If you do a Google search on it, it is mentioned and one or two videos come up, but their understanding of drawing process is unique to them, their own style, not unique to a drawing process, which I call, that allows the important journey of drawing. The reason why many people give up drawing is because, number one, they they have a mental block of what they need to do next. And the reason I was telling you earlier is that the traditional artists are not able to convey that information easily. But until now, I can convey this more easily, right? So here, the drawing process means going in a stepwise manner to the final drawing. And Paintology allows you to do that and clearly see it. And then you'll be able to also see your own drawings and take it through various stages of the drawing. There's no magical process involved, it's just a drawing process. So this is, you could consider, I did like 2-3 stages of the drawing. First of all, I did the block coloring of the leaf in a very blocky manner, like you've seen here. Then I did the block coloring of the background. Then I blended it, and then I got to here. And now here, is a very important point to keep in mind. You would not, even though this seems obvious, you would not be able to go to the next step of the drawing had you not arrived at this step in the drawing. Keep that in mind. I'm going to repeat that. You will not be able to go to the next upper level of your drawing process unless you've come to this point in time. Yeah? And the reason is why and this is the essence of drawing, the reason why I can take from a blank canvas and make a really nice piece of art. And that is the secret to many other art that you see magically appear on canvas, because they've gone through a drawing process. They're not able to convey that drawing process in traditional medium, as I've explained earlier, but that drawing process is now distilled in this drawing app. You can now see the drawing process taking shape as I continue to draw. So I'm going to go to the next step, and I will know in the next step, when I come to evaluate it, what I would need to do to bring my experience and skills to bear to take it to the next level, and then continue doing that repeatedly until I've satisfied with the final art piece. So there you are. So I hope I've explained that. If not, please do comment and on the provide feedback and comment. So here is part of the block coloring, which you should be already familiar with. So remember, I had about 10% when I first did the block coloring of the leaf. Well, the rule of thumb is to take it down to 5%, okay, half of that. So always half it each time as you do the block coloring. That's part of the drawing process, because by halving it, you are now increasing the resolution of the final drawing, improving it, because you've got a lot more detail and you've got this wonderful zoom and rotate. So again, keep it at the top, color picker, and then I'm just, oops, remember, oh wow, I've left that there. Okay, color picker, I've taken it to 100%. Then I'm just cleaning up using this. So I'm just going to go over this quickly, and you'll see what a difference it makes with the smaller brush. Each time I'm picking up the color tones, right? So I'm just going over it really quickly, so I don't want to spend too much time. And then you'll see that with the smaller brush, why is this smaller brush adding detail to this? Well, naturally it does add details. Intuitively, you know it does add detail, but why is it adding details that makes the drawing a little bit more pleasing to the eye? Because remember, when we look at a particular object and we look at a particular piece of drawing, it has to create a sense of emotion and interest in what we're looking at. And if it relates to a human object, photorealism, like if it relates to an object that we've come to and to recognize, then obviously it makes, like, landscape is a very recognizable scene that we marvel every day and gaze, and we can gaze for hours, isn't it? So any artwork that makes us touch reality in that way is we put it down to the credit of the artist, right? And the artist tends to bring reality along with the mindset or what the artist is thinking about with his own unique style of drawing or creating art, and brings it to the people, and then they can gaze and interpret the drawing or painting, right? But because it's done by hand, it is coming from the mind of the individual in what they're creating, so it's unique. And so that's why it's quite sad when a curator says it's soulless, because it's coming from, like I'm doing now, it's coming from my hand. Even if I use tools, I'm still using a tool. I could argue the point that traditional artist is not using earthly materials, but he's using a brush. Would you say that the brush is a soulless? How is he? How is digital medium soulless when the medium that's being used is an application, but still the end user is the artist, isn't it? So it makes me sad that people can turn around and make these wild accusations and claims. So here, you see how I'm doing this? I'm just going over and picking up very localized tones, and you'll see that this has a big improvement on the total drawing. Right, so you can see how we brought this up. Can you see? I haven't done the other dot, right? So just by reducing the brush size, we have managed to bring another layer of detail onto this. So this goes to my drawing process. I'm telling you that drawing process is that the drawing process is key to taking a drawing all the way to the finished. And the thing is, why many people choose to use digital drawing tools is because they don't understand this drawing process, and they never been comfortable with this drawing process. Whereas I've drawn in traditional materials, so I'm very comfortable in it, and therefore I can apply to traditional materials easily. Okay, we got this bubble there, but you see how when we used a bigger brush, we actually went over it very coarsely, but now we got this lighter brush. Now we got this smaller brush. We have much more control over the details, right? Look at that. See that? So let's see where we are on that. Look how much detail we brought out with such relative ease. I mean, that you didn't really require any drawing experience as such, did you? Right? So this is how you build up. And how is this helping you to develop your overall skills? Well, I've managed to rapidly increase my skills to freehand photorealistic drawings on the phone and tablet. And I've been trying to put it down to why that the reason was. And it was the reason that I created these tools in the first place. These tools that will shape your talent. I'll give the analogy again, right? These tools are available for you to rapidly increase your skill set, and they have been designed to rapidly home in on the fundamental core skills of art, which is, first of all, by using the trace, you're having a reference image. Most of our paintings and drawing are based off of reference images, right? Of a live object in front of us. And anything that comes into our imagination would be a work of art. But majority of the drawings and paintings we see are of real world objects or scenes, yeah? So it makes sense that we need to understand what's going on in the real images, right? And this helps us to appreciate tones, and then by looking at the tones in closer detail, we're able to replicate. That's the reason why when I showed you the drawing of the glass bottle earlier, my my mind is my mind is tuned to tones to such a higher degree than before because of doing this, that I'm able to make photorealistic drawings with relative ease. Yeah, and if your aim is to make photorealistic drawings, you don't need all the traditional materials that can be a hit or miss, and you could be frustrated by getting all these brushes, airbrushes, pens, ink pen when you have your phone here, right? Perfectly fine. You just need to take advantage of the tones, right? Of the tools you already have. So look at this. Look at this here. So let's save this. Let's save this because this is cancel. Save. So this is another step in the process of the drawing process. And now what we're going to do is continue to build this drawing. And what's the next thing you want to tackle, right? I can see there are improvements on it tells us now that we've reached this step, we're getting closer and closer to where we want to get to, and how we're going to tackle. I'm thinking I'll be happy doing the droplets here. So now let's get to the droplets, right? Because this is a good practice for you. Let me get to the droplets, right? And let me show you what the droplet looks like. Now, you'd probably have some idea of what I'm going to do next, and you're probably right. Yep, I'm going to, again, use the rule of thumb, reduce that to 2%, okay, to get to even more tinier details and the tinier tones. But I'm not going to use this halfway thing. I'm going to use the full length of the trace. So I'm going to go from my drawing to the reference drawing, and then I'm going to try and replicate this. So let's see what a brush looks like. So I'm going to pick the colors. The reason I can pick these colors, look, okay, I'm going to pick these colors now that's going on at this brush size. Okay, can you see it there? Okay, so now you can do something very interesting, and I'm going to show you. This is something I learned over the time, right? Is that those strokes we're doing is obviously at 100%, right? So let's try and bring it down to 40, 50% and see if that makes a difference, okay? Let's go to this dark tone here, right? And now we can see that the tones, what it's doing is adding value and adding more tone automatically because we're doing double stroke, triple strokes over the same, right? But then I find that the brush is not working to our advantage, so I'm going to take it down even further, 1.5. Okay, now let's do this. Pick that green over there, and then let's just go there, and then let's pick this light yellow there. Look at that. So this is creating multiple layers of tones. This is the secret to, this is effectively the how you can do realistic drawings with relative ease. Right, we're going to do that. And then look at this black. Even that brush that we've got here is too big, but we're not too worried about the size. Let's keep it at that because we want to be comfortable. And so we're just replicating the colors. See these colors that I'm seeing, these light tones, right? These light tones there, right? And then we can go, look at that beautiful white, right? You've got total control over that, right? And what have we got at the top? Another layer of green. See, I'm just picking the tones, different tones, adding so much 3D volume to this droplet. And then over the hemisphere, we've got this lovely green tone that comes up, okay? That sort of this tone that just creeps up, okay? And then what have we got here? Got another green tone going like this. Then we're just using like a pencil stroke. You know how you'd use a pencil? That's all I'm doing. And then look at these, right? You've got that body here, right? Then a green, some green patch here, right there. Just sort of replicating these colors, just giving the illusion that we're creating the illusion of these colors. Remember, this is how artists, if you go to a museum, this is what they do. This is exactly what they do. They are creating a mishmash of the tools they have to give the overall illusion of something going on in the bigger picture. It's fooling the eye in a way. Okay, let's see what happens when we zoom out. Look how that droplet came into existence. So wonderful, isn't it? And it's reflected, that line that goes through it is the line. So I think this is working. So we're going to go to the next droplet and do exactly the same thing. Let's save that. I think I can finish here quite early. So just keep in mind I have another tutorial on the Produce channel, so please feel free to visit that once I'm done here. So even the lines we're picking is actually larger than what the bubble can be done in at this level. But we're not worried about that. We are just simply, and I can take this, if you want to follow the shape, and then just go back here and follow the shape. There you are. Everything is under your control. Could do this really rapidly. Look at these textures, and you're thinking, how am I going to do this textures? Well, you know what? That's how textures are created. That's how artists do. Scribble. Have you seen some of the great paintings by Turner? Yeah, and you got to go close up. You think, what a pile of mess. But yet, see that beautiful line that's going through, which is the line. It's a different color, actually. Okay, let's have a look there. That's it. There's a line that is the leaf. It's reflected on that bubble. So you're thinking, how's he going to do that? Well, all that different colors. Well, that's exactly I'm going to do it like this. See that? It is nothing different. That's how I do it. See, how's he going to create that texture? Now look at that. And the important thing is that you're capturing the elements of the drawing, not the total reality of the drawing. If you are, then you're not really creating something that you can do rapidly. Look at this. Now I'm going to get these, obviously, this line here. And what have we got here? Got this line, this line, this line, to make sure I've got the reference for this, right? And then okay, capture that white, capture this, and then we got this darker color. Just go over it there. This lighter color. Then we got this. So even this is too big, the brush. Even at this level, you're like amazed. Okay, and then what we've got some lighter tones going on here, and then just double the lighter tones here. And have we got some light tones at the back? No, it's more or less the same. So take that green down, right? That's more important than just getting the textures, right? And then change the colors a bit. Some dark tones, there. Right, and then okay. Alright, so what have we got here? Let's have a look. Okay, we managed to pull that off. Now let's do the third one. So let's save that. So notice I'm using 1.5% brush size. Wow, isn't that amazing? And even then it's too big, especially when you zoom in, right? So let's go over this quickly. I don't want to spend too much time. I want you to practice this so you can now see what you need to do. Remember, I've got this at 42%, okay, the density. Pick the color picker there. Right, and then get that beautiful line, that the stem. I want to capture that. That's so important to this drawing, because it shows right there. Look at that. Just want to do that. Okay. And you may be thinking that that might have been a good idea to change the size of the brush, but honestly, I don't have much time, so I'm gonna keep it this brush size here. See, I'm just replicating this. Then we have this little tiny stem that goes around. Okay, got the green there, the black. See how that, right? And then I got that black there, here, some black going on here. See that there. And remember, you need to, so this is, take full advantage of this, the fact that you need to go over it several times to bring that effect of the dark color out. Yeah, and that works to your advantage, just like a colored pencil. Right? No different to a colored pencil. If traditional artists knew you could draw like this, don't you think everyone would be drawing like this? Maybe you are a traditional artist, right? Alright, so we have here, look, and that's going there, and then some of that light tone I want to go in there, and then look at that beautiful light tone that's going there. Yeah? You have to enjoy colors and really appreciate colors too. Then what have we got here on that big brush, that big side? We managed to capture that, the bigger brush we had before. So now that we're in the smaller brush, could just see what I'm doing? Nothing different. Just then we have this green that goes down here. And then we have this green that goes here to the back somewhere. And then let's finish this. Again, a mishmash of textures you want to create, and you're thinking, how do you create textures like that? This is what artists do, trust me, nothing different. They're creating a mishmash of colors. You know what? They're not focused on the exact texture. They're just focused on getting where we're doing the minimum. Next time you go to an art museum, get close to the canvas, and then you'll see what they're doing. Right, so we got any more textures here? Sort of a light texture here that's going on here, right? Okay, just to give the illusion. And have we got anything here? This is like a green texture. And then does that white go all the way? It doesn't. Sort of goes. And then can we shape that bubble with that black? Yep, we can. Let's just shape that to that dark areas here. So let's see what we have here. Wow, look at that. That bubble came out really nice, didn't it? So now I can see what we need to do is essentially do the edges. Can you notice, if you hadn't come here, you would not know what the next step is, right? So what is the next step? I mean, in my opinion, the next step here would be, look at that, the dark edges around there. Look at that, it's a beautiful dark edge, right? And what we need to do is bring that dark edge into our own picture. And we can still keep that brush, but I'm thinking we should increase it a little bit because it's quite heavy. See how the width of that? Just increase it until it sort of matches the width. Right, I've seen that. Bring that along, and then you got this color. Take that so you can remove that easy. And then how far is that dark edge going? It's going quite a bit, so that's the black. And then how far do we have here? We have a very beautiful white tone here. And we've still got 45% on that. So leave that. If that's working for you, leave it. Okay, let's see if we've covered yeah, we've more or less covered the thing, the bottom edge. Now let's go to the top edge here. All right, here, the top edge. Oh, wow, it's so lovely and defocused, right? So I'm going to take it down here and let's see if we can get that diffused look. just see, we need a bigger brush, isn't it? Bigger. Let's take that down. Just experiment with it, right, to get that effect. Just experiment. Look at that, how that effect is working, right? That's sort of blurred. It's so sharp at the bottom, but it's blurred. This. Let's see if we can blur this. There. Then here. It's now become sharper, so let's increase the density here. It's also become lighter. Not getting the light, just that's it. Yep, we did it. Yeah, we did a good job of that. And now, what are we going to do? Well, as you can imagine, I'm going to just finish it really quickly with going back to a blending. See, there's an art to this, and truthfully, I don't think it will be easy for you to follow this in a traditionally, but you can see how easy it is to follow. Oops, see that? That's so dense. So we bring it down, right down, and then do a blending that, if you remember, you've already got the experience, right? And then one thing I want to do, so I don't forget, is I want to get that stem right. You know that the tributary that's running across the leaf that provides the nutrition, yeah, to the leaf. I want to get this right. Look at that line. You see there? Can you see it? That line. I want to put it there towards the end. Not now. I'm just blending now. Right. So just blend to give it like form and shape, density, right? So blending it there, and then just blending this here, this color there, and just keep looking at the other. Look at that, it's blended like this. So it's sort of blended. Notice I've increased the density because I want to go faster and get the effects I'm looking for a lot faster. Right there, because look at that, it's quite uniform. It's not very uniform, so I'm going to try and increase the opacity of this. Very uniform, so I'm not. See how uniform that is? So what you can do is increase the brush and just bring it down. Just make that more uniform. And then here, see that there's some effects going on here. While we're here, we can also uniform this. Right, just make it uniform with a bigger brush. Right there. See how effective that is? And then here, but it's going in that direction. So what I'll do is we'll take that direction. Thank you very much. And then do what's happening here. So we're going to have an effect like that, like a leafy two-dimensional effect, right? Then what we have here, so take that brush down, and pick that, just gets dark here and then light. And then notice that this bit, so before I do that, let me finish just doing these areas here, right? Then I can make that texture. Now you know how to make that texture on that. Oh yeah, see that tributary there? That's beautiful, isn't it? We need that. So right now, can you see that white line? Let's try and get rid of it. So, which means we take it all the way down to 1%, right? And then take the density up and then find that line. Take that, just follow the tones of the actual, right? Just not show that the dark tones, all right? There. Okay. And then we have this tone as well. All right, let's have a look. There, it's looking quite good, nice, isn't it? Looks like, but then again, this area here doesn't look here. We can just take that down and then just blend it in, okay? Because it hasn't got that abrupt. It has to look, and then same here. Look there, right there. Just make it look like realistic, okay? And then at the top we have this green here. Right, and then here we have the same thing. We have a little bit of white there. Right there. So now what we want to do is that beautiful line that I've been itching to do, and maybe create some texture if we need to, okay? So we got to take that line down, line brush to just over 1%, and then let's capture this tributary. Look, that tributary needs to be captured, right? And that just, I got it really down, so there. Yeah, keep it halfway so you can follow the outline, right there. So at least we got that, the outline shape, and then take it down and then just create this illusion of texture here. Crisscross, crisscross. Look, crisscross, crisscross. Nothing or nothing different. Crisscross. In fact, when I did the elephant, that's what I created the texture, and then the eyes assume that this is the feature of the elephant, just like the fur when I do the cat's drawing. Okay, so let's see what we have got. Oh, I've got a lovely image, isn't it? And now let's see, there's a tributary there that I want to capture here. This one here. So I'm gonna create a little bit of texture. If the color is not there, you have two ways to increase the density of that color, yeah? By pushing the density up or going to a higher tone. Right, so if you haven't got the colors, just let's look. We know the tributary is coming here, so that's what we're going to do. I just want to soften this here. That's what I'm doing, softening it. Okay, I'm going to soften this here. Just soften. Let these do the work. All right, look at that. We managed to produce something pretty good, I think. I'm happy with that. I don't know about you, but I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to put Paintology on there. And this is our reference image. I'd really love to see your work and see how you managed to produce something with the digital drawing. And you can see how relatively easy that was, probably just over an hour. So do come back for another session tomorrow. Or if you like, in about half an hour, I'll be on the Produce channel doing a similar drawing like this. So I look forward to seeing you then or tomorrow for another session. And you'll find the links in the paintology.com. And then if you go to the live stream tab, well, live stream link, you'll see a link there, and then you'll see the reference image, the actual streaming link as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again. Please subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Bye.